Hello, everyone, and welcome to my CBS GH spoiler channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. General Hospital, today's full recap. Sunday, March 8th, 2026. Sidwell's deadly plot against Lucas exposed, and nobody in Port Charles will ever be the same. You thought last week was explosive? Buckle up, GH fans, because Sunday's episode just detonated a nuclear bomb right in the middle of Port Charles, and the fallout is going to take months to clean up. We are not okay. We need a moment. The opening that left us speechless. The episode wasted absolutely zero time. We opened on a dim, rain-soaked alley behind General Hospital itself, which, let's be honest, is basically the most ominous zip code in the entire state of New York, where a figure in a dark coat was spotted slipping a folded note under the windshield wiper of a familiar black sedan. Before we could even catch our breath, the camera panned up, and there he was, Gerald Sidwell, standing in the shadows with that cold, reptilian smile that sends a chill straight through the screen. If you've been watching all season, you already know that Sidwell has been operating in the background like a spider building its web, patient, methodical, and absolutely lethal. But this episode finally ripped the curtain back on his endgame, and it is so much worse than any of us imagined. Lucas finds the note, and everything changes. Cut to the hospital parking garage. Lucas Jones, looking exhausted but determined after pulling yet another double shift in the ER, spotted the note on his car. He almost ignored it. He almost crumpled it up and threw it away, but something stopped him. He unfolded it slowly, and the camera gave us just enough of a glimpse to see three chilling words scrawled in red ink. They know everything. Lucas's face drained of color in real time, and honestly, same, buddy, same. He immediately tried to call Brad, but the call went straight to voicemail. He tried Felix, nothing. And when he tried to reach Dr. Finn for a consult he'd scheduled earlier, he was told Finn had called in sick, which, given everything we're about to reveal, is no coincidence at all. Portia connects the dots and confronts the unthinkable. Meanwhile, across town at the Curtis Ashford Jazz Lounge, Portia Robinson was having what was supposed to be a quiet Sunday brunch with Trina when she noticed something that stopped her mid-sentence. On Trina's laptop, open to a student research database, was a pharmaceutical trial document that Portia recognized instantly. She'd seen that document before, in Sidwell's office, 3 years ago when she'd briefly consulted on what she was told was a legitimate clinical study. "Mom, you look like you've seen a ghost," Trina said, and Portia could barely answer, because she had. The ghost of a decision she thought was buried, tied to a man she thought she'd never have to think about again. Sidwell's so-called trial wasn't a clinical study at all. It was a cover, a smokescreen for something far darker. And Lucas Jones, it turns out, had been quietly investigating it for months without telling a single soul. Sidwell's plot revealed. It's even worse than we thought. Here is where the episode absolutely shattered us. In a stunning, extended flashback sequence, the kind GH only breaks out when they really want you to lose your mind, we finally saw the full scope of Sidwell's plan. It began 2 years ago when Lucas stumbled on irregularities in a batch of medication orders flowing through GH's pharmacy. Small discrepancies, numbers that didn't quite add up. The kind of thing most people would chalk up to clerical error, but Lucas isn't most people. He pulled the thread, and the thread unraveled all the way back to Sidwell, who had been using General Hospital's supply chain to funnel a proprietary experimental compound to a black market buyer overseas. The compound itself, developed in an unsanctioned lab and never approved for human use, was capable of mimicking the symptoms of a naturally occurring cardiac event. In other words, the perfect, undetectable poison. And Lucas had the receipts. Sidwell knew. Of course Sidwell knew. And for the last 6 weeks, he had been quietly, systematically eliminating every person who could corroborate what Lucas had found, starting with a now retired hospital administrator, a pharmacist who abruptly moved out of state, and most recently, a night shift nurse whose sudden resignation had barely raised an eyebrow at the time. The target was always Lucas. The other pieces were just preparation. The confrontation at the harbor. The episode's centerpiece was a breathtaking, terrifying scene at Pier 54, and if you weren't watching with your hand over your mouth, you weren't paying attention. Lucas, following the trail from the note, arrived at the pier expecting to meet his source, a lab tech named Danny Yee, who'd been feeding him information for weeks. Instead, he found Sidwell, alone, calm as still water. "You've been a very busy doctor," Sidwell said, stepping forward from the shadows. "Impressive, really. Most people look at numbers and see numbers. You looked at numbers and saw me." Lucas didn't flinch. "Whatever you think you're going to do tonight, people know where I am." Sidwell smiled. "No," he said quietly, "they really don't." What followed was 5 of the most tense-drenched minutes in recent GH history. Lucas tried to stall. Sidwell wasn't interested in being stalled. And just when it looked like things were about to take a catastrophic turn, a pair of headlights cut through the fog. Detective Dante Falconeri, with backup. Portia, bless her, had put it all together faster than anyone and made the call. She'd reached Dante directly, bypassed the standard channels, and told him exactly where to go and exactly why. Sidwell was taken into custody, but not before delivering one final ice-cold warning directly to Lucas. "This isn't over. The people I work for don't stop. Arresting me just means they send someone else." Lucas stood there in the rain long after the squad cars pulled away, and the look on his face said everything. He knew Sidwell was right. But the real twist, the one that had GH fans absolutely screaming on social media tonight, came in the very last scene. Back at the hospital, as Lucas finally returned to his locker to grab his coat and go home, he found something waiting for him. Not a note this time, a photograph. A photograph of him and Brad, taken recently, inside their apartment. Someone had been watching. Someone was still watching. And printed across the bottom of the photograph in that same red ink, Sidwell was the warning. The screen cut to black. What's coming next? Monday's preview promises a full-blown crisis as the PCPD scrambles to figure out who Sidwell was working for and whether anyone inside General Hospital itself has been compromised. Portia and Trina face a difficult reckoning about secrets kept and debts owed, and Lucas, refusing to back down, appears to make a decision that will put everyone he loves in the crosshairs. Hold on to your stethoscopes, Port Charles. This storyline is only getting started, and if Sunday's episode was any indication, nobody is safe.